Hey, what's going on, guys? So we've got some actually really cool news around Ananta. We have a launch date for the game, and it's going to be the 15th of January, 2027. So not too long to have to wait now. This was leaked prior to the opening night live Gamescom show a little earlier on, and I thought it was kind of legit after the fact because they were sending out DMCAs, actually. At first, I was like, this looks a little bit fake. But when they took the attempt to take the content down through DMCAs, I was like, okay, something is definitely here. Either that's the real date or we're getting a date tonight. And here we are. We got the date for the game, which is January the 15th. And we got a new trailer. But I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit disappointed. Hopefully we will see gameplay coming out over the next few days. But I must admit, I'm a little bit worried about Ananta. Not because it in any way looks bad. What is Ananta? What is Ananta? That's my question. What is Ananta? I get it. It's anime, Spider-Man, GTA, according to a lot of people, which is not GTA because it's not going to be GTA-like, right? No game coming out to CN or in this space is going to be like GTA in what GTA is like in terms of what you're going to be doing in things like GTA, right? This is an open world RPG narrative game with a lot of freedom to play around in what looks like somewhat of a bit of an attempt at doing a sandbox anime game, right? But why I say, what is Ananta? So this is a game that appears to have dropped gacha characters, and it looks like we're going down a cosmetic route with maybe some we honestly don't still know. To this day, I don't believe what the monetization of this game's going to look like. And the reason that worries me is because I think it's safe to assume from looking at the early gameplay of this game that this actually was going to be a character gacha game. At least that's my belief anyway. And my worry is that it's definitely not going to be like DNA in the sense that they've ripped the gacha out at the last moment. But we saw a game that, in my opinion, again, I can't say this for a fact, that was going to be a gacha game is no longer going to be a gacha game in the typical sense of characters. And my worry is that just like DNA, we move away from the gacha element, but still have some of the gameplay systems overhanging into the game. And I'm a little bit worried about that because with a game like this, if it's not going to be a gacha game, then how is the content rollout going to look? This is the question I have. What am I going to be doing in Ananta? Now, of course, I'm going to be doing the story. I'm going to be doing like fun little events and the sort of stuff you do in an open world until it gets boring, I guess. And maybe even some potential co-op stuff, right? But with it being a live service game, because that's what it looks like it's going to be, it's a free-to-play game with, looks like it's got a bunch of cosmetics. What's endgame going to look like? Is it going to actually have endgame? What's the content rollout going to look like? Because one thing you can say about gacha games, for all of the negative aspects in the monetization, how it can affect stories, how it can affect power creep, how it can affect characters being thrown away, and also how it affects how we actually play these games. And what I mean by that is the daily systems, how we build characters, how we farm, how events work, how endgame works, and this typical hamster wheel of gacha gameplay. If it's not a gacha game, then it needs to do something different. And my worry is that it's going to have some of those sort of frustrating parts of gacha games and not be a gacha game and kind of not roll content out as often as I think a game like this would require. And I'm like, so is it going to feel like a box price game at the start that just continually has story adaptations and maybe new vehicles for us to purchase and stuff? And maybe they can do that, I think, if they go down maybe the route of like a GTA Online sort of thing. But I don't know if we're getting that right. Now, I'm not saying this game isn't going to have co-op because it looks like we've got PvP racing and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think it's going to go down the route of a online sort of GTA sort of style of game, right? Which, if you did that, that could be kind of interesting, right? You have additional story stuff that comes out and then monetize it through a persistent online experience with other people. I don't think that's what this is going to be. I think this is going to be a single player experience with small co-op elements. But with it not being a gacha game, I'm curious of how the content's going to roll out and what the experience of playing this game is. I just don't know what I'm going to be doing in this game, honestly. And I can't get excited for Ananta at the moment because of that. Because I'm like, what is Ananta going to be? One thing I will say, though, this game looks incredible from a visual standpoint. But I don't like this sort of stuff.
You're nothing more than a bad seed who
like,
slipped out of a nowhere.
They're calling him like the
Yeet Master.
The Yeet Master. It just feels like very much a hello, fellow kids kind of game. I must admit, the quips are a little bit cringe, like even to the point where this game's all about like building your social media, it seems, right? And it's going to be all about memes. Yeet Master. Like, what are we trying to appeal to here? 12-year-old kids that don't exist who are going to look at that and go, bro, what the fuck is this cringe? To the point where they even do the Yamcha pose. You got these dudes fighting, which I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool, right? We're doing like some fucking Dragon Ball Z shit here. And then, yeah, we're literally doing some Dragon Ball Z shit here. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried that it's going to get a little bit painful in regards to what they're trying to do with all of the silly side of things. I like a bit of silliness, but I'm a bit worried it's going to be a little bit too overt in this game. But you know, when you look at this sort of stuff, looks incredible. Again, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying Ananta is going to be a bad game, right? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just a bit worried in what the experience is going to be like post-launch. Because as it is now, it looks like it could provide a good one-and-done box price experience. You know, a game that has a core component, a story, you know, potential DLC, and maybe an online mode. But it's gonna, you know, be akin to something like NTE, I'm assuming, right? But without the gacha. And my thing is there, like, if that's the case, what does the content rollout look like then? What does Endgame? Is it just going to be a myriad of, like, little mini games and their attempt to make a sandbox? Because if that's the case, I'm a little bit worried because I just don't know if games in this guise, you know, like stuff like this is just like, it's kind of cringe, man. A little bit too over the top for me.
Why is everyone running off? Am I really that annoying?
Yeah, you kind of are, to be fair, dude. I don't like the MC now, if I'm honest. But I'm just a little bit worried about what the experience is going to be like right now. Maybe I'm being a little bit pessimistic, but yeah, and I'm not saying I want it to be a gacha game. I'm just like, in the absence of a gacha, what does a game like this actually look like in terms of the content, the daily experience, the grind, if you will? What's going to keep you coming back on a sort of semi-regular basis for a game like this? Now, if it's something that you come back to every now and again, that's cool. I'm totally cool with that. But is that going to be profitable enough from a monetization standpoint? Because obviously it's a free-to-play game, but like, it sort of screams box price to me. Not in the sense that, this just like, this has to be a box price. It's, I don't know where we go with these. Again, what I need from the developers now is sort of what the structure of the game is. What does my experience of this game look like? Say, when I finish the initial story patch on launch, what do I do after that? Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of curious as what I'll do after that. And hey, I'm not saying that gacha games have mastered that, because let's face it, most of them are trash at that anyway. So this isn't like it's going to be somehow in a worse state. It's just that we've got gacha games that the monetization facilitates a consistent rollout of content, whether that content is good, it's consistent. Will this be able to do that with how they monetize it or how they're going to do it? And this is all the questions that I've got right. Again, it's just, what is Ananta? And yeah, I'm struggling to get super excited until I know what this game actually is going to be. Other than that, though, like, it looks amazing, right? The environments look cool, the visuals look great. That we've saw bits of the combat that look decent. They showed off a lot more of like the city life elements here, right? I must admit, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the character interactions. They're a little bit too cringe for me, a little bit too over the top, a little bit grating. In just the 2 minutes of watching this, 3 minutes of watching this trailer, it was like, okay, all right, I've seen enough here. So hopefully this doesn't become a thing where it's just like, okay, I'm kind of hating all the interactions with these characters because it feels like it's desperately trying to attract like a Gen Z audience to the point where it's like, that isn't even the audience that you're going to be getting from those guys, because even they're looking at it and going, what the fuck is all of this? I don't know. But the game looks beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I know this isn't going to be a traditional gacha game. At least we think that, right? Anyway, at least we think that. But even if it is or isn't, in terms of the anime space, I think when we're looking at like the environments and stuff, I think this probably is the best looking one of these games out there, right? It probably, to me, it looks better than Wuthering Waves, and it looks better than Arknights and NT from a visual standpoint. So it's got that going for it, right? But we all know visuals don't make a good game, right? We need to see what I'm going to be doing in this game, and I'm curious to see what I'm going to be doing. But anyway, I hope it is good, and we don't have long to wait now. So that's a real positive thing. Hopefully, over the next few days, I think it's playable on the stage floor, right? So hopefully we start to see footage coming out from people playing the game. We can kind of get an idea of what gameplay means in this game, and hopefully some people kind of like go off and do things where we can figure out, all right, ignore the story. What does the game offer outside of the story? Because we all know the story is going to come to an end. Then what's the patch sort of cycle going to be looking like? I'm really interested to see that. I think where this will really shine is if they go down the route of co-op stuff, potential multiplayer stuff. Now, this is a game that could flourish in a sort of GTA online environment, but I don't think this game is going to be anything like that. So yeah, I'm curious of what it's going to be, but because of that, I'm still struggling to get excited about it. But hopefully they change my mind in the coming days and they show some stuff where I'm like, you know what? Hey, I'm locked in. Because I want to be locked in, because it does look amazing from a visual standpoint. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. What is Ananta? Do you care? Are you excited? Are you a little bit worried of the direction of the game? Because we just don't know what it's going to be, right? I'm really curious. And for how close it is to launching, does anybody even know what this game is going to be? Like, I don't feel like we've been in this position with most of these sort of games, really. So, yeah, I'm I'm kind of fascinated to find out, if I'm honest. So, yeah, let me know what you think down below. And subscribe if you're new. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. And I'll catch you all in the next one, guys. Yeah.